Dandadan. This was my first time experiencing anything Dandadan, and it is wild. Just a heads up, this is going to be a quick video. I honestly wasn't even planning on making a video this week. I've been sick with the flu, which is why I sound like I've been gargling razor blades. I sound like someone's grandmother from the 70s who chain smoked her whole life, or 70-year-old Miley Cyrus. But because I've been laying in bed doing absolutely nothing, I had time to flip through Netflix where I found Dandadan. I remember Charlie Penguin Z0 saying that this was his favorite anime of 2024, so I thought I'd check it out. I'd say I'm a casual anime fan, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball, pretty much the stuff that used to come on Toonami, and every now and then I'll dip my toes in the anime bucket just to kind of see what comes out. And you know, sometimes I really enjoy it and sometimes I don't. Before we get too into this video, if you're new to the channel, this topic is a little different from my normal videos. I just haven't had time to work on my main projects, but if you like this, maybe I can cover more anime and manga. And if you do enjoy this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We surpassed our new goal of 300 subscribers last week, and I'm so grateful to you all. Let's keep growing this channel and tell YouTube that you want more Mickey Teller, and hopefully you do. And with all that out of the way, let's officially get into it. It may have been the actual fever I had, but this show honestly felt like one big fever dream. Then again, to me a lot of anime feels that way, but this one hit the right buttons. Now, I watched the whole season, but I'm not going to cover the entire season. I'm going to cover the first episode, because if you want to watch this, I don't want you to be spoiled. So everything I'm about to discuss is the first episode only. So after jamming out to that intro song, we meet Momo Ayase, a high school girl with a strong personality who believes in ghosts but not aliens. She's fiercely loyal and caring towards her friends, particularly her co-lead Ken, or Okarun as she calls him. Momo also inherits spiritual powers, which play a central role in the series. And then there's Ken Takakura, or Okarun, a timid, nerdy high school boy who's a strong believer in aliens, but dismisses ghosts as nonsense. You may already see where this is going. After coming across a supernatural phenomenon, he gains unique abilities and becomes a more confident and brave character over time. Momo and Okarun make the show for me, which is good because they're the main characters. I honestly think it's because I see a lot of myself in Okarun when I was in middle school. Not every aspect of him, of course, like Okarun states several times that he doesn't have any friends, and I had friends. I feel like I have to say that I had friends. I'm pretty sure of it. But for me, there was always a girl that I was too scared to ask out. I always just assumed that I stood no chance with any of them, even when there were obvious signs that I did. Always remember, kids, confidence is key. Momo and Okarun's relationship begins by Okarun trying to convince Momo that aliens are real, while Momo tries to convince Okarun that ghosts are real. They each go to a different location suggested by the other so that they can prove that what they each believe is real. And of course, Okarun ends up finding a ghost, or a curse, named Turbo Granny, who wants his banana. Her actual words, not mine. And Momo finds aliens that want to have their way with her to repopulate their race. This part really almost turned me off of the show, I can't lie. But I am glad I stuck with it because the end result of that scene ends in Okarun using Turbo Granny's curse powers to save Momo, but Momo gains these awesome psychic abilities and crushes the aliens like they're nothing, and it does end in a satisfying way. This scene is beautifully animated, and I only have one note. It's very well done, but you could have kept all the clothes on Momo. We don't really need naked high schoolers running around. There is a little bit of that in here. It's not anything explicit, but it does kind of walk that line, so do be prepared for that. And it turns out that Turbo Granny did actually take Okarun's banana, and now he's cursed. Momo has to use her psychic abilities to keep the curse from devouring him, and the first few episodes build up to them facing off against Turbo Granny to get his, well, ding-dong back. I told you. Fever dream. And in the process, Momo and Okarun form a friendship that may or may not turn into something more. Again, I don't want to tell you the entire plot of the show. I only briefly went over the first episode, but if you're looking for something really weird, I highly suggest checking this one out. But if you're over 18, maybe don't be weird while you're watching it. Remember, these are high school kids. There were some parts about the show that did annoy me, and one of the main things is actually Okarun himself. There's times where the dude just needs to nut up. And pun intended for those of you who know the material. Toward the end of season 1, a new character is introduced as Momo's childhood friend and first crush. Again, over the first season, Okarun and Momo do that will they won't they crap that drags us all along, but the second a new guy enters the picture, Okarun just kind of gives up. He mopes around wondering why he's just not good enough for Momo when there's no reason for him to believe that at all. And I'm just over here like, dude, you're doing fine, just get back in there. That's the part that particularly reminds me of myself, unfortunately. In middle school, that's exactly the mindset that I had. So when I saw Okarun doing that, I felt like I was kind of just coaching my childhood self. How do you sum up Dandadan? It's a blend of humor, a small touch of horror, and a little bit of horny. And it's pretty great. Some parts of the show kind of remind me of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but other parts of the show stand out completely on its own. It really captures that teenage angst from high school, and the otherworldliness and excitement kind of reminds me of daydreams I would have had while sitting in class. You know, when you're sitting in class bored and you want something exciting to happen, that's kind of what this show reminded me of. It really brought me back to those Toonami days and I loved it. I already know teenage me would have been a mega fan of this show. And from what I understand, season 2 will drop in July of 2025. Sorry if this video seemed a little rushed. Again, I feel like a wet dog turd and honestly, I can't wait to get back to bed. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Dandadan in the comments. Later.